A shocking report now concerning voter fraud, and it's getting quite a bit of attention because it found that Hillary Clinton may have received more than 800,000 votes from illegal immigrants. The study, authored by political scientist Jesse Richmond of Old Dominion University. The report estimates that 6.4% of an estimated 20 million adult illegal immigrants voted in the election, Clinton collecting 81% of the vote. This study, of course, bolstering exactly the President of the United States, who said he wanted a full investigation of electoral integrity in this country. Joining us tonight, veteran of 10 presidential campaigns and elections, Ed Rollins, and the executive editor at the Weekly Standard, something of a veteran himself, Fred Barnes. Good to have you with us, Fred.
Thank you.
And Ed, thanks. Let me turn to you first. I mean, the president still has his timing. He starts talking about this again. The national left-wing media starts accusing him of talking about an irrelevancy, and out comes this study showing precisely what he's been talking about.
Well, the key thing, I think, if we move this thing forward, which I'm sure he is to find some fixes. You don't want to just diminish the premise of elections, but there's a lot of things that are going on. There's some studies that have been done elsewhere, and there's a big projects in California to where multiple people have voted multiple times. And I think you have to somehow basically lay out a plan.
Yeah, well, can I argue with you a little?
Sure.
First, let's find, the national left-wing media went nuts when our president said we're going to investigate voter fraud. They said there's no evidence of voter fraud. Excuse me? Why don't you find out what the hell you're talking about? The national left-wing media is off the rails here, and it's purely, in my judgment, anti-Trump reflex.
Well, I think that's a given, and I think that's going to be a given for the next 4 years. But at the end of the day here, the only thing I had concern, and I've expressed it here, is I think he had a tremendous victory, and it was a very well-structured campaign, and it won places that we hadn't won since 1984. And I don't want anything to take away from that. At the same time, moving forward, we need to fix it.
Okay, you and I we're on opposite corners tonight, because I got to tell you, nothing's going to take away his victory. Nothing's going to diminish it. And the fact of the matter is that we got one coming up in 2018, an election. And Fred, we got one in 2020. And my guess is he wants to win that one, too, and expects to do so. What do you think?
I think he does. 2018 is one where Democrats in the Senate in particular are very vulnerable. I think a lot of these Democrats, there are 10 of them who are going to be up for re-election in 2018 in states that Trump won, and some of the states that Trump won a lot in. Are they going to want to be a part of a scorched earth policy against Trump? I really don't think so. And I think the real test is going to come next week, of course. Trump is going to announce his nominee for the Supreme Court to fill the seat of the late Justice Scalia. Now, I think Democrats are going to have to be very, very careful on that if they decide to filibuster it, and they're allowed to do it as the rules stand now. They have to be very careful. I think some of these Democrats in Trump states are not.
I just want to interject, Fred. The rules you talk about can be changed by this Senate, and in my judgment, ought to be.
Well, they can, but Mitch McConnell is trying to avoid changing the rules because he thinks he can win without them.
If you have an intractable opposition that is engaged in a scorched earth policy, Ed, why the hell not change the rules?
This is someplace you and I agree on 100%. So we can find common ground. I think we have so much that we want to move in such an agenda that it's absurd to let a 60 vote, used to be 66 votes, filibuster basically stop it. I think the country wants action. I think a majority rule ought to be what it is in both the House and the Senate, and let's get some things done. So that should be changed before the
I personally believe, Fred, the Democrats are just out of ideas. They're talking about scorched earth. That they are the party of resistance and obstructionism. The hell with them. I mean, frankly, the hell with them if that's their attitude.
And what happened to the loyal opposition? Now it's the resistance. Sounds like some third world country. I mean, they really are out of ideas. I mean, they're still shocked by the election itself. They were so sure that Hillary Clinton would win. and they would also win the Senate, and the world is just completely different. And now they have Trump, not only with a flurry of activity. What's impressed me is the things he's done that have an immediate impact, that go into effect. The rule of law being returned to immigration. He pulled the U.S. out of the Pacific Trade Treaty, and what happens?
I was going to make that point. No presidents make promises all the time in campaigns. No president has ever basically had a week like he's had. He has driven his agenda. He's undone a lot of damage was done by the past president, and I think he's going to continue it.
Ed Rollins,
I was looking back at the first.
I'm sorry, we're out of time. We're actually over time. And I'm in real trouble with my producers, so I've got to say, have a great weekend.
Better be careful.
You better believe it.